Hello people and welcome to yet another this is a very strange angle. Welcome to yet another video on the Camera 7 channel. I'm your host Amber and I'm recording this on my rear camera. That's because apparently I cannot record 4K on my front camera. So I had to re-record this clip several times. So with that out of the way, today I'm going to show you some of the tech that I use on a regular basis. This is some of the tech that I daily drive on a regular basis, and with that out of the way, let's get started. Let's start with this. This is a TPLink AC1200 Wi-Fi extender, and I have this because the main router is in my bedroom, and we don't have any Wi-Fi reception in my living room and living space. So I got one of these, and it does fine. It picks up on the 2.4 as well as the 5 gigahertz band. But this might raise a question. If this is for Wi-Fi extension and there's no Wi-Fi reception in my living space, why is it here? Because of this switch. Did I just say switch? I meant to say this port here. Why is that relevant? We'll understand soon. But for now, let's move on to the next product. This is a Boat Avante 1700D. I bought it on sale from Amazon, and it cost me around what? 8,500 rupees, and it's a pretty good solid old soundbar. Comes with the remote. This I bought so that I can use it with my TV, and it has a USB port, an HDMI port around the back, as well as it also has Bluetooth functionality, so you can use this as a Bluetooth speaker as well. Also comes with a subwoofer, which I have put over here, and yeah, it's pretty good. It sounds a hell of a lot better than the other sound bars I was considering, and considering the price, it's pretty sweet. And now for this TV here. This is the Sony X80J. This is 43 inches and it's a 4K 60 Hz panel, and it has a delta E of just 1.4. A delta E of 1.4 is really good for a TV itself. Now, in case you're wondering what the heck is delta E of 1.4, well, the lower the delta E number is going to be, the more color accurate is going to be. So a delta E of 1.4 is more color accurate than a delta E of 2.2. The more professional color accurate monitors have a delta E of about like 0.95, 0.80, 0.86 or something like that, which is pretty awesome. But hey, delta E of 1.4 is pretty good. And now we move on to this. In case you're wondering what the heck this is, this is a secondary PC I have. It's right next to my TV here, and it's not plugged in right now because I unplugged it so that I could watch some YouTube on my TV, which is awesome. Why do I have an HTPC when I have a smart TV? I mean, a smart TV can do almost everything an HTPC can do. This is not just an HTPC, it's also a cold storage server. So this thing basically stores all of the Camera 7 projects that I have done over the years, all of them. And this has 4 terabytes of hard drive storage, a 120 gig SSD, a Core i5 4690K, Z97M D3H motherboard from Gigabyte, 8 gigs of DDR3, 1866 MHz, and a GTX 1650. It has a 1650 because before this it had a 1060 which randomly died, so I had to buy a 1650. Oh yeah, here's the remote for the soundbar, in case you're wondering where that went. And yeah, it's fine, I suppose. I can use this to play some games on my TV as well. Obviously some older, lighter titles like Psychonauts, Terraria and stuff. It's pretty fun. It's a pretty useful PC. And yeah, it stores a lot of our client data. Now, you remember that this Wi-Fi extender was in my bedroom because of this switch. Well, that's because this right here is the Wi-Fi receiver for the PC, and as you can see, it's missing the antenna. And because it's missing the antenna, it's not exactly catching speeds that well, so I had to bring the Wi-Fi extender here. Also, a small story is attached to this case. I paid 1,100 bucks for this case, and all in all, I paid like 1,400 bucks for this case because of the travel. So the thing is, I had to go from Nehru Place to Burari. That's right, Burari, to get this case, and it's quite a bit of distance. Like, yeah, all in all, it cost me like 1500 bucks, which was a lot lower than a brand new case. The brand new case cost like 2000 rupees, and I could have bought a 7 or 800 rupee case, but it would have been a lot smaller, a lot shittier. It would have been basically a hot box, wouldn't have a hard drive case, yada yada yada. Yeah, this case is a little better than that. Let's move on to that one now. This is the two screens I use for editing my videos. By the way, in case you're wondering, yes, two screens makes a huge difference when it comes to editing videos. I think I should do a video on that. I think I'll do it anyways. So yeah, this is a 1080p IPS panel. This is also a 1080p IPS panel. This one's from Philips. This one's from AOC. Each one of these cost me like 8,000 rupees a piece. And I got the second one because this first one developed a green line over here. So I bought that one, thinking that maybe it's about time I get another one. But I had to buy this one because this one's 1080p and I was not willing to replace it for just one small green line. So I bought this one. This one too developed a black line eventually, but that's okay. Also, this one's HDMI, this one's DVI. The reason I bought this one with the DVI port is because, so yeah, I bought this one because my GTX 1060 didn't have an HDMI out, but what it did have was a DVI out. As far as I can focus, will you? As far as I can gather, it had a DVI port, and I bought it so that I could plug it in, and sure, it worked, but then the GTX 1060 died, and now I have to, oh wait a second, now I have to buy a new. So I bought a 1650 for this system, and my main system, well, the hardware has gone a few revisions, and now we'll move on to that. But before we do, couple more things. This is a keyboard I bought. This is a mechanical keyboard that I bought several years ago. This is a Red Dragon keyboard. Why is it not focusing? Thank you. Yeah, this is a Red Dragon keyboard. It's mucky, it's very dirty, but that's because I've had this for like several years. I think like 3 or 4 years. I was in the first year of college when I bought this, and that was like 2017. So there you go. Now, one of the things I want to tell you is, a few days after I ordered this, I was going to college with my friend, and my friend said one of his friends also bought one of these, and his died in 6 months. And I was like, oh, so mine's gonna die in 6 months. Oh well, let's see what happens. Yeah, it's working just fine. All these years later, works fine. Has a few ghost presses, but otherwise works fine. Speakers from Zebronics I got because I had a lot of friends come over for editing, and every time I would give them my earphones and they would have a nightmare putting them in and all that. So I said, I'm just gonna buy a pair of shitty speakers so that I can listen to audio at least. These are two controllers. This Xbox controller is dead. This is a Red Dragon controller that I bought like, what was it, 2-3 years ago? No, not 2-3 years ago, like a couple of years ago. Still works just fine. It's wireless, requires its own receiver, whilst this one is actually Bluetooth, which was nice. But yeah, this thing works just fine. That's the power adapter for one of the monitors. Yeah, this is the power adapter for this Philips monitor here. This is my mouse. So this is a Logitech G402, which I bought. I bought this thing before I bought this keyboard, and I think these were like 1 or 2 years apart, and it's been working pretty well ever since that day. And I was playing Far Cry 4 and my mouse died, so I bought one of these, and this has just lasted me forever. This is a blue Snowball. This is what I use for doing all of my voiceover and all the dubbing on the Camera 7 channel. In fact, I use this in the Don't Be Serious podcast as well. Romit doesn't have one of these. He really should get one of these. I bought this thing like, God, I was in like 10th or 11th grade when I bought this thing, and didn't use it for a long time. It's just been working ever since. This is actually the oldest thing in my house. Oh no, wait. That PC is the oldest thing in my house. The 4690K and the motherboard on that thing is the oldest thing in my house. Not this. This is the second oldest, I would say. That's the Wi-Fi router. Yes, it's Airtel Extreme. 150 megabit connection. And now let's move on to my main tower, which is over here. I'm just going to turn it on so that you can see it a little better. There we That's better. So this case in question is a Cooler Master Box 511, and I think it cost me like 4 or 6,000 rupees. Cheap case, works fine. It gathers dust really easily, but otherwise it's an okay case. Now let's move on to the internals. I can't really pull it out and show it to you properly, and also it's not focusing that well, but well, that's just how things are. Is this? Yeah, never mind. So I thought the tempered glass panel is on here, but it's not. So this red fan here, that's a Hyper 212 LED. Then there's 16 gigs of not 16, I meant to say 32 gigs of DDR4 3600 megahertz RAM from G-Skill. It's the Ripjaws 5, and that white little thing there is an Inno3D RTX 3060 that I recently bought because my 1060 wasn't exactly capable of handling A7S3 footage. This has a 500 gigabyte Samsung 860 EVO, a WD Blue 1 terabyte, and a WD Blue 2 terabyte and a WD Green 1 terabyte. And yeah, the WD Blue 2 terabyte has died, well, it's starting to die, and that's cool, isn't it? And I decided that I am going to buy a new one which I haven't deployed yet. So there it is. This is a webcam that I have. Actually, this is probably the oldest thing I have in my house. That's a raincoat for my bag because I used to ride motorcycles a lot, and that's my camera bag. There's something this is absolutely butchered. Yeah, there's nothing special about it. It just houses my camera. In case you're wondering what it is, it's a Canon EOS 60D with an 18-135 lens, and that's really all there is to it. This is a Boatstone 200D, a mouse bungee. Yes, I am a Bengali Chakravarti. A mouse bungee here, and that, in case you're wondering, is a hard case for earphones. Speaking of earphones, let me show you what earphones I have. So I can't seem to find my earphones, so I'll just tell you what they are. The one I use for all the sound work are a pair of Shure SE215s that I paid like 7,900 bucks for, and my daily drivers are a pair of Realme Buds Air 2, which I use on a regular basis. They're fine. The active noise cancelling is good enough, I would say, and yeah, they're fine. They're fine. Other than that, I also have a Realme Watch 2 Pro, which I use on a regular basis. I will say this, the GPS is terrible on that, so don't use the exercise tracking modes on them because the GPS is absolutely awful. But anyways, that is all the tech I daily drive on a regular basis. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.